You ever notice how the world only remembers your age when it's time to take something from you? That's how it started for me. Crack of dawn, just me, my coffee, and the sound of birds out by Lake St. Mary. Then came the crunch of tires on my gravel drive, the kind of sound that tells you somebody else is about to make your day their business. I'll tell you right now, I never liked that sound, not when I was young, and especially not when I'm supposed to be too old to fight back. Picture it, my house, an old place, nothing fancy but mine. Dented steel mug in hand, fog just lifting off the water, quiet so clean you could hear the percolator's slow tick. And then SUVs, 3 of them all black and shining like hearse cars at a rich man's funeral, rolling up in a way that says they're used to not being told no. Millwood Reserve HOA stamped right on the doors, big as you please. They hop out polos with silver logos, clipboards, phones. One heads for my dock like he's the new lord of the manor. I'm standing in my doorway, half daring them to take that as an invitation. Clipboard guy steps up, all official, Mayo Davenport. He says like he's the one doing me the favor. Tries to hand me a folder. Full market value plus a $7,500 relocation bonus, 3 days to consider. 3 days? Hell, I didn't even need 3 seconds. I told him he had 30 seconds to leave. Told him this was my land, my house, and not under his HOA's jurisdiction. I could see the guy with the camera lower his phone. "You're being recorded," I said, and pointed at my camera, blinking red on the porch. Old habits. Clipboard's smile went flat. They left, but not in a hurry. Calm practiced. The kind of calm you get from scaring folks for a living. Next morning, coming back from the lake with my tackle box, I spot a big white envelope taped to my gate. Legal notice stamped red, like some sheriff from a black and white western. I peel it off, carry it inside, open it with a penknife. Inside, a 7-page notarized intent to purchase under community expansion, easement maps, and all my place marked like a target. Bureaucratic poison. The kind of legalese I'd seen back when I worked fraud cases for the state. Fake overlays, cooked up agreements, forged maps. Except this time I was the one in the crosshairs. I scanned the papers, logged everything. Called up Reed, an old buddy from the Commission on Fraudulent Land Use, owed me 2 favors and a bottle of decent whiskey. Asked him to check the papers for fraud. Then I took a walk around my land, nerves twitching, and found 3 bright yellow X's painted on a boulder, a tree in my dock. Survey markings. But nobody'd asked me for a damn thing. Later, I swing by the post office and get another surprise official-looking letter. Big increase on my tax bill pending commercial integration. I called the county office. The clerk sounds tired. When I ask about the sheet, he says, "You're the 3rd one this month." That triangle watermark? Yeah, it's a fake. That's when the real fun started. That night, I rigged up a new camera under the dock. Around 2:40 a.m., headlights skim the tree-line SUV blacked-out windows. At 3:19, someone slips by my boathouse, breaks the lock, leaves a note. "You can still sell. It gets harder after this." I wasn't planning to come out of retirement, but if you've ever been threatened on your own land, you know your blood remembers what it used to do. I pulled every drive from every camera set up my guest room like a little war room. Evidence boards, faces, plates. One plate expired but real. The other, a ghost, no VIN, no insurance. Just an old rental erased from the system. That's when I saw it all. The paperwork, the playbook. It was a template I'd seen busted up in California years ago. Blacktail Urban LLC. Same fraud, new state. I called Reed, told him to run those names. He finds the clipboard guy, Kyle Marin, ex-realtor, license pulled for coercion and forged docs. The camera guy, Brady Ellison, is the vice president's son, volunteer muscle. The dock inspector, Ray Carpel, 2 years for impersonation and property fraud in New York. These weren't regular HOA goons. This was a freelance land grab crew with just enough paperwork to scare most folks off. That night, dock camera catches headlights again. This time, the SUV pulls up. Guy stands at my dock for 3 minutes, staring at the lake like he expects it to talk back. It's Carpel. Not carrying a clipboard now. Next day, official white pickup, Maine Department of Environmental Protection. 2 guys, clipboard vests, professional but not hostile. "We received a complaint about pesticides by your dock. I lead them down, let them look. Behind my old tool rack under a tarp, they find a blue barrel 30 gallons partly buried. I'd never seen it. They test it. Empty, but they take samples. After they leave, I pull the camera feed early that morning. Someone in a Millwood hoodie face, hidden, rolls the barrel in and tucks it behind the rack. Planted clear as day. I sent the footage to Sandra Mills, a private investigator sharp as a tack friend from way back. She calls in a private lab. Results the residue in that barrel? Not pesticide, but a solvent used by Millwood during earlier lakefront development, planted to frame me to justify kicking me off my own land. Right on cue, a local blog runs a hit piece, Environmental Risk at Lakefront Property, subtle as a brick. It was time to fight fire with fire. Sandra and I cooked up a plan, a little bait of our own. I drafted a fake internal HOA memo full of legal-sounding jargon, hinting the HOA planned to sell lakefront parcels to a foreign investment group. Leaked it to a nosy local architecture blog. Took 9 hours to explode. Now the HOA board is in panic mode. Emails flying, emergency meetings, board members sweating. One even warns the others about legal exposure if the land grab continues. In the midst of the chaos, we get a wild card, an ally I never saw coming. Justin Ridd, young lawyer just out of school, burning for justice after watching his aunt lose her home to a scam. Sandra brings him in, we build him a fake background, and he volunteers with the HOA's new outreach program. Soon enough, he's on Zoom calls, drafting communications, listening in on strategy sessions. He records everything, parcels to be targeted. Next estimated resistance levels. My name at the top, high, non-compliant, potentially litigious. One day, Justin calls rattled. They're fabricating violations against you, going after your doc. That was the last straw. We bundled all the evidence, fake docs, threats, the planted barrel, Justin's memos, Sandra's findings. Sandra files a cease and desist against Millwood HOA and copies the Zoning Board, Department of Environmental Protection, even the FTC. Millwood tries to counter, calls me a troublemaker. Local paper picks up the story, HOA accused of harassment after lakefront property owner alleges fraudulent buyout scheme. But Justin's real gift is a recording snuck during an off-the-record meeting. He can be broken like the rest. We'll bury him in paper and bleed him out. That's Ingram, the vice president I'd seen sweating over burnt coffee at the diner. We had intent, not just threats. So we sued. 3 of us, me, Harriet Fletcher, and Mary Mahone, neighbors marked for acquisition. Our lawyer, Sandra, filed the claim harassment fraud conspiracy. HOA Millwood countersues, says I stoked anti-foreigner hysteria. Sandra just smiles, says desperation always files first. In the hearing, we laid it all out, fake tax docs, planted barrel-forged LLCs, audio recording. The judge heard it all, then stopped the hearing. This case will be referred to the Attorney General. And suddenly we're national news, HOA mafia exposed. With publicity comes pressure. State regulators audit Millwood's last 10 transactions. Zoning Board reopens complaints. The FTC investigates. And the cherry on top, federal prosecutors look at RICO charges, usually reserved for the mob. The HOA president gets indicted, resigns in disgrace. Dale Ingram flips, testifies, runs to Florida. Carpel gets 9 years, Ellison gets 6. The HOA is dissolved, assets liquidated, damages paid. Me, settlement in the bank. Peace at last. The lake is quiet again. I fix up my dock, replace the locks, add a motion light just in case. Sandra visits once, tells me she's off to Oregon for another fight. Justin gets job offers from 3 firms. I tell him to take the one with the most secrets. Before I closed the book, I drove to the county records office and had them notarize a statement my property isn't subject to annexation or any HOA nonsense, not without my say-so. On the way home, a couple walks their dog, waves at me. I wave back, not because I have to, but because after all this, I finally get to do it on my own damn terms. You know, I used to think justice was a word lawyers threw around, but it's real if you're stubborn and a little lucky. Sometimes the lesson hits you late. The world will always find new ways to push you off your piece of earth. But if you stand up, really stand up, sometimes, just sometimes, the world backs down. That's not just a story, it's the only reason I'm still here. Now tell me, where do you draw the line between standing your ground and becoming just another villain in someone else's story? What would you do if the world decided your life was a line on their map? Let me know below because I can promise you sooner or later somebody's going to come knocking on your door too.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video. Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.